The stage is set, the warning signs have been delivered, and now the real test begins. The All Blacks may have finished their final warm-up match with more than enough confidence, but the biggest challenge of their tour is no longer waiting in the distance. It is right in front of them. New Zealand have arrived at the doorstep of Ellis Park in Johannesburg in impressive form, playing fast, attacking rugby and building momentum under head coach Dave Rennie. Their latest performance against the Bulls provided another huge statement, as the All Blacks stormed into a commanding 24-0 halftime lead and eventually crossed the 50-point mark. But perhaps the most important message from that performance was not the score. It was the fact that New Zealand know the Bulls game was only preparation. The Springboks are something completely different. The Bulls were facing the All Blacks during their pre-season, and home captain Marcel Coetzee openly acknowledged the difficult circumstances surrounding the fixture. His team wanted the opportunity to test themselves against one of the world's leading sides. But the reality was that New Zealand were able to impose their game from the opening whistle. By halftime, the contest was effectively over. The All Blacks had gone 24-0 ahead, extending an extraordinary defensive run across their recent warm-up matches. Across 3 halves of rugby, New Zealand had scored 78 points without conceding a single point. That kind of dominance naturally creates confidence. But inside the All Blacks camp, there will also be an understanding that confidence can quickly disappear when the opposition changes from a club side preparing for its season to the reigning world champions preparing for one of rugby's biggest rivalries. That is exactly why Cody Taylor's reaction after the match was so revealing. Rather than getting carried away by the scoreline, the experienced All Blacks captain recognized what is coming next. The Springboks will be watching. They will have seen the speed. They will have seen the attacking ambition. They will have seen the confidence. And they will almost certainly understand that the All Blacks will attempt to carry that same energy into the Test series. As Taylor put it, Test rugby demands a completely different level of tempo and physicality. That is the challenge facing New Zealand now. The warm-up matches can create rhythm, confidence, and combinations. They can give coaches answers about selection. They can provide players with opportunities to prove themselves. But once the whistle goes at Ellis Park, none of that matters unless the All Blacks can handle the pressure. And this is where the story becomes so fascinating. The Springboks have won 12 consecutive matches and have gone unbeaten for a year. They are not simply in good form. They are operating with the confidence of a team that has developed a ruthless winning mentality. South Africa also have history on their side. They defeated the All Blacks in the 2023 Rugby World Cup final, and their most recent meeting before this series produced another painful memory for New Zealand. That means this is not simply another international fixture. It is a confrontation between 2 rugby giants who know exactly what the other side can do. For Dave Rennie, however, there are plenty of reasons to be optimistic. The All Blacks look rejuvenated. They are playing with freedom. Their attack has shown genuine variety. Their defensive performances have been extremely impressive. And perhaps most importantly, several players have made the selection conversation far more difficult than it appeared before the tour began. The wing positions are a perfect example. New Zealand have produced performances that have forced Rennie to seriously consider how he wants to structure his back 3 against the Springboks. The competition for places is exactly what a head coach wants before a major Test series. Nobody wants automatic selection. They want players pushing one another. They want players demanding consideration. And the All Blacks appear to have plenty of that right now. There is also encouraging news surrounding some of their key players. Cam Roigard has not featured on the tour because of a tight calf, but Rennie remains confident that the scrum half should be available for the opening test. That could be a major boost. Then there is Will Jordan, New Zealand's record try scorer, who has also been managing a back issue. His potential return would provide another major attacking weapon for the All Blacks. The bigger question surrounds Damian McKenzie. McKenzie picked up an ankle problem against the Sharks, leaving his availability less certain than that of his teammates. Rennie admitted that McKenzie's situation was the one creating the greatest concern, although there remained optimism that the versatile back could still recover in time. And that could become one of the defining selection decisions before the series opener. Because against South Africa, every decision matters. Every missed tackle matters. Every kick matters. Every turnover matters. Every moment of hesitation can be punished. The Springboks are experts at turning small mistakes into enormous pressure. That is why the All Blacks cannot simply rely on the attacking rugby that has worked so well during their warm-up matches. They will need accuracy. They will need discipline. They will need patience. And above all, they will need to match South Africa physically. That is where this rivalry has traditionally been decided. The All Blacks can move the ball quickly and create space. The Springboks can close that space incredibly quickly. New Zealand can attack from broken field situations. South Africa can turn a loose ball into territorial pressure. New Zealand can stretch a defense. South Africa can drag opponents into a battle of strength, patience, and endurance. It is a fascinating tactical contrast. And it is why the opening test could become one of the most compelling rugby contests of the year. There is another factor that makes the series even more intriguing. Both teams have plenty to prove. For South Africa, the objective is obvious. Continue their remarkable winning run and demonstrate once again why they remain one of the most difficult teams in world rugby to defeat. For New Zealand, this is about proving that their resurgence under Dave Rennie is real. The All Blacks have looked dangerous. They have looked confident. They have looked organized. But none of those qualities will mean much if they cannot reproduce them against the Springboks. This is the examination. This is where the progress is measured. And this is where the All Blacks will discover whether their impressive warm-up form can survive the intensity of Test rugby. The Bulls may have tried to soften them up physically and mentally before the series. Instead, New Zealand responded by putting more than 50 points on the board. But perhaps the Bulls inadvertently provided the perfect final reminder. The All Blacks are ready. The question is whether they are ready enough. Because waiting for them at Ellis Park is a South African side that will not be intimidated by a big score against a club team. The Springboks will bring their own intensity. They will bring their own physicality. And they will bring the confidence of a team that has spent the last year refusing to lose. That is why the greatest rivalry is perfectly positioned for a battle of the ages. The All Blacks arrive with momentum. The Springboks arrive with dominance. New Zealand have attacking confidence. South Africa have proven resilience. And both teams have memories of previous battles that will add another layer of pressure. For Cody Taylor, Dave Rennie, and the rest of the All Blacks, the message is simple. The warm-up is finished. The auditions are over. The real rugby begins now. And when these two giants finally collide at Ellis Park, the question will not be who looked better against their previous opponents. It will be who can handle the pressure when every carry hurts, every tackle matters, and every mistake could change the entire test. The All Blacks have given the Springboks plenty to think about. Now South Africa have the chance to respond. And if the form of both teams is anything to go by, this greatest rivalry opener could deliver exactly what rugby fans have been waiting for. Intensity, skill, tactical battles, huge collisions, and a contest that could be decided by the smallest of moments. The stage is ready. The All Blacks are resurgent. The Springboks are razor sharp. And now there is nowhere left